Most people are not getting poor because they are lazy. They are getting poor because they are ignoring the only type of wealth that becomes more valuable when the economy gets worse: living things. And almost nobody talks about this until it's too late. Because while millions of people spend their lives chasing faster money, higher salaries, and complicated online businesses, something strange is happening quietly in the background. Tiny plants, some no bigger than your kitchen table, are creating life-changing income for ordinary people, not celebrities, not billionaires. Regular people in small towns, empty backyards, forgotten farms, even tiny rented spaces. What's shocking is that some of these plants are becoming more profitable precisely because the world is becoming more stressed, more exhausted, and more unhealthy. Doctors are warning about rising inflammation. Researchers are seeing record levels of anxiety, fatigue, poor sleep, hormone imbalance, memory decline, and chronic stress. And as people search desperately for natural solutions, a silent green economy is exploding underneath the surface. But here's the part nobody explains clearly. Most people choose the wrong plants. They waste years growing crops with low demand, tiny profit margins, and brutal competition, while a handful of overlooked plants are quietly producing unbelievable returns per square foot. And one of them is so profitable. Some growers refuse to publicly reveal how much they actually make. In this video, we're breaking down 5 powerful plants that are quietly creating millionaires, why demand for them keeps rising year after year, and how one small decision today could completely change your financial future over the next decade. Because by the end of this video, you may realize the greatest opportunity of your life was never online. It was growing silently in the soil the entire time. 1. Moringa, the poor man's gold plant. That wealthy health companies quietly depend on. The strangest part about modern wealth is that some of the most profitable plants on earth still grow beside dusty roads in poor villages. And Moringa may be the biggest example of that. For years, people ignored this tree because it looked ordinary. But researchers, nutrition experts, and supplement companies saw something different. They saw a plant packed with nutrients people are desperately searching for as stress, fatigue, poor diets, and low energy continue rising across the world. That's where the opportunity begins. Humans often assume expensive products create value, but in reality, value comes from solving painful problems, and Moringa quietly sits at the center of several growing industries at once: wellness, nutrition, skincare, tea, supplements, even natural energy products. The psychology behind this is simple. When people feel exhausted, inflamed, mentally foggy, or unhealthy, they start looking for natural solutions they can trust. Studies on nutrient-dense plants helped push Moringa into that conversation. Suddenly, demand exploded faster than most farmers expected. One small grower in Africa reportedly started with a few rows behind his house. At first, neighbors laughed at him. The leaves looked too simple, too common. But within a few years, local health stores, tea companies, and exporters began buying regularly. The same plant people ignored became his primary source of income, and that pattern keeps repeating. Pause for a second. Sometimes the most valuable opportunity looks too ordinary to notice. If someone wants to grow Moringa successfully, the smartest move is not planting blindly. Start by understanding demand in your area. Learn who buys dried leaves, powder, seeds, or oil. Focus on quality, consistency, and clean processing. Small growers who build trust usually outperform growers who only chase volume. The biggest mistake people make is treating Moringa like a quick money scheme. It's not magic. It's a long-term agricultural business tied to rising health awareness worldwide. Have you ever seen a plant people ignored suddenly become incredibly valuable later? Because the next plant on this list grows so fast. Some investors call it green steel. 2. Saffron, the tiny red threads worth more than silver by weight. The world's most expensive plants are not always the biggest. Sometimes the real money fits in the palm of your hand. And saffron proves that better than almost anything else on earth. Most people think wealth comes from producing more land, more products, more volume, but saffron works in the opposite direction. Tiny amounts can carry enormous value because humans are psychologically drawn to rarity, tradition, and perceived health benefits. That changes everything. For centuries, saffron has been connected to wellness, mood support, cooking, luxury products, and traditional medicine. Modern researchers continue studying compounds inside saffron linked to stress response, emotional balance, and brain health. And as anxiety, burnout, poor sleep, and emotional fatigue rise globally, demand keeps growing quietly in the background. Humans often underestimate small opportunities because the brain associates small with weak, but high-value markets reward scarcity, not size. One farmer started growing saffron on a small piece of unused land after noticing how expensive imported saffron had become. At first, harvesting looked painfully slow. Every flower had to be handled carefully by hand. Friends told him it wasn't worth the effort, but over time, restaurants, herbal shops, and specialty buyers began paying premium prices for clean, high-quality saffron. What looked inefficient at the beginning became extremely profitable later. That's the pattern most people miss. Slow work sometimes creates stronger income than fast work. If someone wants to enter the saffron market, the smartest move is starting small and learning quality control first. Study climate conditions, understand harvesting timing, learn proper drying and storage. In premium markets, trust matters more than quantity. The biggest mistake people make is chasing shortcuts or fake products. Low-quality saffron destroys buyer trust almost immediately. Do you think most people ignore small opportunities simply because they don't look impressive at first? Because the next plant grows so aggressively. Some countries are now racing to control entire bamboo industries before demand becomes unstoppable. 3. Bamboo, the fastest growing plant, creating hidden millionaires. Worldwide, most people are slowly exhausting themselves chasing income that disappears every month. Meanwhile, one of the fastest growing plants on Earth keeps quietly building billion-dollar industries in the background. Bamboo is not valuable because it looks impressive. It becomes valuable because humans consistently underestimate things that grow slowly at first, then suddenly become impossible to ignore. That pattern exists everywhere in life. The human brain is wired for immediate reward. Fast results feel emotionally safe, but bamboo teaches the opposite lesson. For long periods, growth appears small above the surface while deep root systems are forming underground. Then suddenly, growth accelerates aggressively. That's why industries connected to construction, furniture, textiles, eco-products, flooring, paper, and even wellness products keep expanding around it, and there's a deeper psychological truth here. Most people quit too early because visible progress feels more believable than invisible progress. You see this in health, in money, in relationships, in discipline. Humans often abandon powerful long-term systems simply because the early stages feel emotionally uncomfortable. But nature rarely rewards panic. It rewards patience backed by structure. Take a breath for a second. Some of the strongest growth in life happens quietly before anyone notices it. If someone wants to benefit from bamboo, the smartest move is studying long-term demand instead of short-term hype. Learn which species are commercially valuable. Understand local climate conditions. Focus on sustainability, consistency, and practical uses people already need daily. The biggest mistake people make is expecting instant success from something designed for long-term growth. That mindset destroys both health and financial stability over time. Do you think modern society has trained people to abandon slow opportunities too quickly? Because the next plant became wildly profitable for one surprising reason. Humans are now more stressed than ever before. 4. Lavender. The calm-smelling plant fueling a billion-dollar stress epidemic. Humans created a lifestyle so stressful, they are now paying billions just to feel calm again for a few minutes. And lavender quietly became one of the biggest winners from that reality. The uncomfortable truth is this. Most people do not actually manage stress. They distract themselves from it until the body starts sending stronger signals. Poor sleep, brain fog, irritability, exhaustion, shallow breathing, constant tension. Researchers and health experts keep warning that chronic stress affects hormone balance, sleep quality, focus, emotional regulation, and even long-term inflammation levels. And because modern humans normalized overstimulation, many people mistake busy for productive while their nervous system slowly burns out underneath the surface. That's where lavender enters the picture, not as magic, not as a cure, but as part of a growing wellness industry built around one simple human desire: emotional safety. The scent of lavender has been studied for its calming effects in certain settings, especially around relaxation and sleep routines. And as stress-related problems continue rising globally, demand for lavender oils, teas, candles, skincare products, and wellness products keeps expanding quietly year after year. But here's the deeper lesson most people miss. You cannot build a peaceful life with a constantly overstimulated mind. Sometimes humans spend years chasing money while ignoring the nervous system carrying them through life. Then one day, the body forces the conversation they kept postponing. Pause for a moment. Your body keeps records even when your mind tries to ignore them. If someone wants to benefit from lavender, the smartest move is understanding why the market exists in the first place. Study wellness trends, learn product quality standards, focus on consistency and trust. Calm has become one of the most profitable emotional needs in the modern world. The biggest mistake people make is believing stress is normal simply because it is common. Those are not the same thing. What's one habit modern society normalized that you think is quietly damaging people's health? Because the final plant on this list has been desired for centuries for one reason humans still struggle with today: energy. And the last insight may completely change how you think about aging, fatigue, and performance. 5. Ginseng, the ancient root. People keep returning to when their energy starts disappearing. The human body was never designed for constant exhaustion, but modern life treats fatigue like a personality trait instead of a warning sign. And that is exactly why ginseng keeps surviving every generation. The deeper problem is not just low energy. It's that humans have normalized running on stress hormones, poor sleep, overstimulation, and mental burnout until the body starts losing resilience completely. That pattern affects everything. Focus weakens, recovery slows down. Motivation becomes inconsistent. Even confidence changes when the brain and body stay exhausted for too long. Researchers studying adaptogenic plants have spent years examining compounds in ginseng connected to stress response, mental performance, and energy support. Not because it is magic, but because humans keep searching for sustainable ways to function in demanding environments. And most people are searching in the wrong direction. They chase endless stimulation instead of protecting the systems that create real energy in the first place. You can see it everywhere. More caffeine, less sleep, more pressure, less recovery. Humans keep borrowing energy from tomorrow while pretending there will be no cost later, but the body always keeps score. Take a slow breath for a second. Real performance is usually built through recovery, not constant intensity. If someone wants to benefit from ginseng, the smartest move is understanding quality and patience. Learn the difference between mature roots and low-grade products. Study trusted markets. Focus on consistency, education, and realistic expectations instead of hype. The biggest mistake people make is treating exhaustion like something to ignore until serious health problems appear later. Fatigue is information, not weakness. What do you think drains modern humans faster? Physical work or constant mental stress? And when you step back and look at all 5 plants together, a strange pattern starts to appear. The biggest opportunities often grow directly from the problems modern society created for itself. Here's the uncomfortable truth most people never hear early enough. The future may not belong to the people who consume the most, but to the people who learn how to grow what stressed, exhausted societies desperately need. That changes how you see health. That changes how you see money. And honestly, that changes how you see modern life itself. Because while most people are distracted by trends that disappear in months, some of the smartest opportunities on Earth are still growing quietly in soil, sunlight, and patience. I'd genuinely love to hear your thoughts. Which of these plants surprised you the most, and have you ever seen someone completely change their life through farming, wellness, or natural products? Comment below. I read the comments carefully, and I personally reach out to many of you because these conversations matter more than people realize. And if this opened your eyes even a little, like the video, subscribe to the Human Upgrade, and stay close, because the next video may completely change how you think about aging, energy, and the hidden habits quietly controlling your future.